Phật.
Nam mô Quan Tham Bồ Tát.
Mô Quan Tham Bồ Tát.
How are you? How are you?
Fine. It's still alive.
Yes, still alive.
Nam mô A Di Đà Phật.
Look very much alive.
Oh, now Lumini is very hot. Yeah, 41 degree.
Oh my. Very humid too.
Yeah. Oh, no, but still people here very poor, but people here very happy.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we must learn many things. Oh, now I still making the water tanks.
The water tank for the temple.
Yeah, the temple around that we can put if complete inside. You can have the small boat.
Oh, a small boat.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put a moat around the temple. The boat can go all the way around the temple.
Yes.
Yeah, very wonderful.
Because it's a temple, otherwise the people can go there and swim inside.
Swim inside.
Yes, it's a very it's a miracle. You see every day, even this period difficult, but many thousand people come to Lumini.
Yes, wonderful.
Yes, it's a miracle. So
Very
you have long experience in the UN, and many countries try to bring the Myanmar leader and opposition people come to have the peace talk in Lumini.
Oh, wonderful.
I will offer fooding and lodging.
Yes, food.
Like last time we bring the Maoist and different political leaders come to Lumini and they get peace. Oh, the political leader, Nepali political leader, they remember you. When we have the peace seminar in Kathmandu, you was one of the main speaker. You remember the former prime minister, few of them. Last time they meet me, and we have discussed about the situation in Myanmar and the war. Bắt đầu chưa Minh Đạt? The time is coming. 9 already? Okay, 9 already. So before starting the talks, I would like to all of you keep 1 minute silent to pray for world peace, particularly for Myanmar. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, today welcome all of you. We have the talks relating to the peace. You see, the peace is very important. I think you know well, in our life, even we have a lot of money, property, food and everything, and if we don't have peace, it's become useless, isn't it? So now, you see, all of us, we know well, since many centuries, the people try to develop a different field and to try to bring the happiness to the people. And up to now, the most important things simple, that the peace. But we have also many problems. So I telling you, I was born in Vietnam. I was the victim of the war. It's a terrible war. Million ton of bomb pour in Vietnam. Million people was killed. Many propaganda, very sweet propaganda for the war. What happened? You see, when I was child, I went to school midnight because daytime the people bombing and the rocket, and we have to go midnight. Terrible. Million was killed. And at last, when the Vietnam War finished, slowly, many scholars, including the mastermind of war Vietnam, what they say? They say the war of Vietnam is a dirty war. And some mastermind, what they say it's a very sorry. You see, when we hear and we read this sentence, we feel very sad. And they just give their conception for certify certain person or certain group of the people for democracy, for very sweet slogan. But at last, million people die. And First World War, Second World War, and many regional conflict on way with the good slogan, good title. But at last, what we have seen, the truth inside, very terrible. Now, what happened in many countries, in the Middle East and different parts in the world? But the war and misunderstanding, the conflict going on. And today, I'm very happy to welcome all of you. We are on this Zoom talk. Let us try to share the idea, expression. Particular, I also very much like you give some your idea, so that let us try work together and to try to do something for humanity. They need the peace. So how can we get the peace for present situation? I think if the peace is not come soon, so many problems will arise, not only one country, but throughout the world. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you joining here. So now I very much like to invite Divine Mother, Huyen, Audrey Kitagawa. She has a long time work in Huyen, and she also dedicates a lot of time for peace in different countries, particularly during the war of Nepal war, Civil War. She come to Nepal and she did a lot of things to help me. And at last, peace come to Nepal. And this is a very, very significant point. And I hope different leaders in the world, they should come to Nepal to learn how Nepali people, they can apply our peace proposal. And at last, Nepal get peace. So now, firstly, I very much like to invite Divine Mothers to starting the talk today. And after that, I will invite another leaders. Thank you. Please start.
Thank you very much. And hello, everyone from New York City. It is good to see you again, and I wish to extend my deepest appreciation to Thầy Huyền Diệu, Dr. Trung Quoc Lam, for this invitation to share about how can we attain to inner and outer peace. Of course, the many difficulties and challenges that we see in the external world that are exacerbated by our instantaneous ability to receive news from all around the world heightens our awareness of the difficulties and challenges that people face in different countries. And so for those who attended the broadcast, which I gave last Sunday, where the topic was happiness, I indicated that happiness is a state of being. And like happiness, peace is also a state of being. And we distinguish today between inner and outer peace. And I suggest to you that outer peace is a reflection of inner peace that must exist within first. When one is peaceful within, then what goes out in the outer world will not disturb whatever goes on in the outer world will not disturb your inner peace. But the external disturbance can be a good gauge of how much harder we all must work to bring forth that inner peace to create a peaceful external world. And as global citizens, we all have individual and collective responsibility to work on ourselves first, that we may become peaceful individuals, so that collectively, as a society, we may reflect a peaceful world on the outside. To the extent that what goes on in the external landscape is not peaceful, then let that be a gauge of how much more we must work on ourselves and our own inner state of peace. When we talk about the difficulties in governments and their failed policies, or the difficulties in the corporate world and their practices that may pose many problems, we must remember that all governments, corporations, and other institutions are ultimately run and led by individuals. Therefore, the people that we put in positions of leadership are very important, because a leader that puts out language and policies that become reflective of the inner world of that leader who puts out language of hatred, racism, and polarization can create polarized governments that can stir the citizens to deploy hate speech that ultimately becomes hate crimes, hate actions, atrocities, and ultimately genocide. So Dr. Lam, Venerable Thầy Huyền Diệu, began the conversation about talking about the difficulties that he experienced growing up in Vietnam and the war in Vietnam. Many years later, I had the privilege of taking my spiritual community to Vietnam, thanks again to the invitation of Venerable Thầy Huyền Diệu. And, it was just remarkable. I also brought veterans of the Vietnam War on the US side, and we also visited the Cu Chi tunnels. And what we found of the beautiful Vietnamese people is that there was absolutely no acrimony, no sense of hatred towards the Americans who, basically went into their country and created this war, sprayed Agent Orange and deforested the beautiful natural landscape of Vietnam. So when we realized that the people of Vietnam were wonderful people, very hospitable, very welcoming, the question arose, why do we make war against such loving, kind people? And so too, we must be mindful of the policies that are created by the leaders of any nation that would create invasive policies to go into other countries and create war. So on the global level, the United Nations was created out of the destruction of two horrific world wars with the hope that it would be a leading, guiding institution of peace and provide the venue by which world leaders could cultivate, develop, and promote a more peaceful world. And I want to cite the preamble of the UNESCO, which is a very major, important department in the United Nations. And the preamble of the UNESCO's constitution states this, that since wars begin in the minds of men, It is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. So UNESCO thus works to promote peace by cultivating its foundations in the mindset of the people throughout the world through programs in education, culture, science, and communication. And UNESCO stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations. And of course, it determines what sites are historic World Heritage Sites, and Lumbini is on UNESCO's World Heritage List. And this is thanks to the very hard work of Venerable Thay Huyền Diệu when he first came to Lumbini and made a wish that if this is truly the sacred grounds of Lord Buddha, that he will see that it become developed into a beautiful sanctuary of world peace in his lifetime. And so we are very privileged to see his vow coming into being by the beautiful, beautiful sacred grounds of Lumbini that it has become. And it is represented by many international monasteries that are part of the sacred grounds of Lumbini. So UNESCO is a specialized agency of the United Nations, and it is aimed at promoting world peace and security through international cooperation in education, the sciences, and culture. So here we have a leading guiding institution that recognizes the importance of peace and that it starts in the minds of man first. And this is correct. Peace starts in the mind first. Then what we think about, we become. So it is important that we be mindful of that upon which we are contemplating, because we become that. Now, we have spiritual communities, for example, this wonderful Sangha that is tuning into this broadcast today. The Sangha or spiritual community has a leader. And the leader should give the messages of peace and should educate the members of the Sangha with the tools of peace. Ultimately, all true spiritual leaders guide their devotees to those proper practices that will help them to live lives that are in alignment with the universal spiritual laws of love, peace, harmony, and joy. Last week, in my conversation with you, I gave the tools to find happiness. And I spoke about the three realms of the body, mind, and spirit, and the alignment that must be made of these three realms. These three realms are still operative so long as we are in the physical body that is situated in the context of this lifetime in the three-dimensional plane of the perception of time and space. So let me do a quick recapitulation of what I shared last week about these three realms, because all that was shared about each of these realms apply to today's conversation on how we can attain to inner and outer peace. First, I shared about the body and the need to keep it in good health and good working order so that it can take us from point A to point B in this lifetime. Point A is our birth, point B is our death. In keeping the body in good working order, we give it proper nutrition, exercise, and refrain from damaging this vehicle of our experience from intoxicants and illicit drugs. Second, I shared about the mind and the importance of refraining from negative thoughts. I shared about the importance of utilizing meditation as an important tool to bring the mind into the stillness and silence. I spoke about filling your life with gratitude, having a sense of purpose, good values, good ethics, that we may develop ourselves into loving, kind, and compassionate persons. If we understand the law of karma, which very succinctly says, what you sow, you reap. Whatever we put out into the world returns to us, because in the high state, this perception of individuation and separation is a fiction of the senses and the five elements. In reality, we are all one, and there is only one power in the universe, and that power is the supreme source, the divine, the one and only creator of all there is. And third, last week I shared about the spirit. The spirit is that vital force that gives life to all things. This life force is sacred, and we are imbued with this sacred life force to come into this lifetime to learn ultimately the lessons of love. For this supreme source, this sacred life force is love itself. Now, in Lord Buddha's lifetime, he gave over 85,000 holy sutras. Each of these holy sutras have deep meaning that are tools to help us to develop ourselves, to come into alignment with these three realms of body, mind, and spirit, to help us to find inner peace and happiness. When inner peace is attained, then outer peace is also attained, but it must come from within first. So I shared last week this important law. Everything starts in to out, not out to in. This means that what we develop within our own minds gets projected outwards. Therefore, if we do not like what we perceive on the outside, we each have responsibility to correct our own inner film, our inner consciousness, and our own ways of thinking. And may we always remember to think upon those things of love, kindness, beauty, compassion, and being of service, selfless service to others. One of the most famous of Lord Buddha's sutras is the Lotus Sutra, which is comprised of 28 chapters. And it can take your entire lifetime to read and practice what is contained in those chapters. So the tools are many by which we can utilize in our daily life the discipline of our minds to find inner peace that may ultimately be outwardly expressed. I want to share with you a few words from chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra called The Universal Gate of the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, known as Kuan Yin, Kannon Sama, and Kuan Am, and other names in other languages, but speaks about how when one calls upon this powerful bodhisattva, help can come to you in any situation in which you may find yourself. And in this Lotus Sutra, this bodhisattva is called perceiver of the world's sounds, to indicate that the divine hears all of your calls for help and fully knows all of the many challenges which you may go through in life. And as I share with my Sangha, that this divine source knows everything that is going on at all times, even when a single raindrop falls on a single leaf in the vast Amazon forest. So here are some beautiful words from chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra in speaking about the power of the divine source to understand and hear all of your cries for help. He is pure light, free of blemish, is a sun of wisdom dispelling all darknesses. He can quell the wind and fire of misfortune, and everywhere brings light to the world. The precepts from his compassionate body shake us like thunder. The wonder of his pitying mind is like a great cloud. He sends down the sweet dew, the Dharma rain, to quench the flames of earthly desires. When lawsuits bring you before the officials, when terrified in the midst of an army, think on the power of that perceiver of sounds, and hatred of all its forms will be dispelled. Wonderful sound, perceiver of the world sounds, Brahma's sound, the sea tide sound, they surpass those sounds of the world. Therefore, you should constantly think on them, from thought to thought, never entertaining doubt. Perceiver of the world sounds, pure sage, to those in suffering, in danger of death, he can offer aid and support. Endowed with all benefit, he views living beings with compassionate eyes. The sea of his accumulated blessings is immeasurable. Therefore, you should bow your head to him. The bowing of your head symbolizes that one should have humility in life and to be willing to listen and open your ears, your hearts, your mind to elevated teachings that provide the tools to help you to find inner peace and happiness. That when we practice collectively to become better persons, our collective projection in the external landscape will also change. In short, true peace is an inner state of being that is ultimately externally manifested. So when we talk about the distinction of inner peace and outer peace, we are talking about that sacred repository in which, in the silence, in the stillness in which the true power of this divine source exists, comes that peace, that state of peace that surpasses all understanding. And when we move in the world from that state of peace, then that is projected outwardly. And as a spiritual community, as the family of man, we each, as individuals of this family, have great responsibility to work on and develop our inner selves that we may become peaceful individuals. So always remembering that all leaders of governments, communities, families, and corporations and institutions all are comprised of individuals. And therefore, we cannot abdicate nor ignore our responsibility as global citizens to do our part to help to make this world a peaceful place by mastering ourselves first and taming our base nature, that our consciousness may become elevated and we may move throughout the world as peaceful beings, manifesting peace and together creating a peaceful external world. So thank you very much for this privilege and opportunity to share with you today. And I welcome any questions which the Sangha may have.
Thank you very much. And before the question, we would like to request you to chant the Santi mantra, which people like very much.
The beautiful Gayatri mantra. Yes, thank you very much for always asking me to invoke this sacred mantra. It is a Maha mantra. It is the mantra of enlightenment. And it is imbued with that sacred vibratory frequency that it speaks to this profound divine love. And every time I invoke this sacred mantra, it is an expression of the deep and profound love in my heart for each and every one of you, that I send this powerful vibratory frequency of divine love to you as a very wonderful blessing. Om Swaha. Om Maha. Om Janaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satya. Om Tat Savitir Varanyam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yo Noha Prachodoya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. May the infinite love, peace, harmony, and joy of the divine be with you this day and all the days of your lives.
Thank you, divine mother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Master, and good morning, Divine Mothers.
Good morning.
I'm so thankful. It's a beautiful speech about peace, inner peace, and it's a beautiful mantra. The energy is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Even though that it's snowing very heavily over, I feel very warm from listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is the sacred vibration that is invoked in the resonance of my voice that touches every cell of your being. This is why you feel the warmth. And this is a very sacred, powerful mantra. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank Venerable Thay Huyền Diệu for always asking me to invoke this mantra, because he realizes the great benefit to the Sangha to be able to receive the recitation of this mantra.
Thank you very much, Divine Mother Human. I invite you because you have done a lot of things for world peace, particularly during the war of Nepal. You come many times to Nepal and you help me very much for working peace in Nepal. And I believe with your position and influence and dedication for peace and for humanity, then please carry on your work for world peace. And now we want to invite another speaker, and then after that we have discussing and you can put a question. Now today I have 5. You see, before talk invite, I would like to tell you Lumini is the birthplace of the Buddha. This is a wonderful miracle place. I believe if all the leaders, world leaders, come to Lumini pilgrimage to pay the pilgrimage and meditation and to take the energy, and we can find peace solution. Therefore, the place, I believe, holy place. Therefore, Buddha, he was born here. You see, when I come to Lumini, Nepal was a peace. Then after a few years, Nepal war happened. Very terrible war. More than 14,000 people were killed. Then I was in Ashokapila. I meditation, I make a wish and pray that Nepal should have peace. Then in my mind that time I have the wish, if I not die, then I very much like to invite all political party, including the Maoist leaders, should come to Lumini, should come to Ashokapila and follow the Buddha way. It's a miracle. After very hard working, at last, I could invite all political leaders, including the Maoists, the top leader, Prachanda, come to Ashokapila. Then I tell him story, I chant the mantra. And I remember after my explanation, then he nearly wept, touched. And he promised me when he go back to Kathmandu, he tried to lay out the arm and start fighting. But really, when after ceremony he returned to Kathmandu, he declared very positive thing. And slowly Nepal get peace. And then he become Prime Minister of Nepal. You see, this is a miracle. It's a miracle, very powerful. So before during the war, when I started to work for the peace, I had so many problems. I also the victim of own political party. But slowly, I think Holy Land, they have a very strong energy. And if the leader come here, they purify the mind and peace come. So my wish is, and now let us try to give very simple solution and try to bring all of them come to Lumini 1 or 2 days and purify the mind. When they go back to the country, and then peace come. So very important from the peace and from mind. If mind no peace, outside no peace. So Divine Mother, you have worked a long time in UN, and your office now the top of the UN in New York. So you try to bring on the leader, including the Donald Trump and the present president come at least few hours and own leader. I believe their mind should purify. You see now many leaders I find outside mouth only way they're talking peace, 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 with inside no peace. Then if mind no peace, then how can they give peace to the people? If you are poor, you cannot give. If you are not happy, how can you give happiness? So now I want to get your experience. Let us try. Open new chapter. You see, I do not criticize UN. UN is an international organization. But how many times they can bring the peace to the planet? Now many countries, Afghanistan war, Iran war, Iraq war, around the world conflict. And every year they spend $1 million. I do not criticize, but I observe. Go there and give speech, and when they come back and still criticize and fighting. No. So would you kindly convey my idea? And let us try to bring them to Lumini. Lumini, we don't have good hotel, but I can manage some place for them to stay in my temple and different temple, and we try to cook good food for them. Yeah, after taking pure food, good food, not delicious food, but good food. And then, if possible, we request them to like hunger strike few days to purify their mind. So you see, like the one of the difficult leader is Prachanda. When he come to Lumini, he changed the mind, and even other leader. So I believe. And then after Lumini, then we bring them to Himalaya. Beautiful place, meditation 2-3 days. They get peace. Then suddenly. But in New York, they have good food, good place to stay, but no peace inside. How can they give peace to the people? Okay, please. Now I very much like today. I find there's one professor. Professor, he also, I think, peace worker. He's a peace ambassador. Professor Hidaya Paracharya, Vice Chancellor, University. This, I think, very wonderful university, new one, but I believe this university will produce many peace leaders. So I'm very happy to welcome you today. Please, you give your idea, how can we get peace according to the Buddha way? Yeah. So please, you have a few minutes. I need your suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all. Thank you, Thay, for this very nice opportunity, a very great opportunity for me to be with so many scholars, learned people, peace leaders. Well, Lumbini Buddhist University, it was established on the request of the first World Buddhist Summit held in Lumbini, and the request of the World Buddhist Summit was to establish an international university where scholars from all over the world can come and spend time meditation, in study, in research, and also have lots of exchanges. So that was the main motto of our university, Lumbini Buddhist University. This is our 16th year now, Lumbini Buddhist University. We are still developing, and we have many challenges ahead. But nonetheless, being established at the place where Lord Buddha chose to come to this earth and spread his teachings regarding the meaning of life, the meaning of peace, and how we can really be in peace with ourselves and with others and bring peace to the world. As we all know, the history has shown many rise and fall of nations, many wars, many difficult things that have taken place. We all know. And we are also aware that all wars are phenomena of nations, rulers, and power. Of course, Lumbini and adjacent areas have also that long history of wars, rise and fall of rulers, dynasties, so on and so forth. But at the same time, Lumbini has also given a kind of message that civilizations, happily living way of life, they are driven by Buddhas and Munis, sadhus, who dedicated their lives and also mobilized others for peace, harmony, and prosperity for all. Of course, so far, Sakyamuni Buddha was born. He was on this earth 2600, about 2500 to 2600 years ago. And during the time process, we are seeing so many wars that have come. Wars, peace, they all come and they have gone. Emperor was a kind of, Ashoka was an emperor who epitomized some kind of war and peace, gain and loss. But the pain still continues. Then, of course, today's discussion, what is peace? How can we have peace? How can we maintain peace? It's a lovely questions. And the earlier speaker has already elaborated on this. Of course, peace is feeling of well-being, feeling of calmness, and feeling of being secure, and feeling of ultimately joy and happiness. But of course, when we talk about feeling requires consciousness. If you think about a planet, say Moon or Mars or Jupiter or whatever planet, where we don't see people there, and we see a kind of calmness, but that doesn't give peace. Peace requires people who can feel peace. Of course, calmness is also very important. Calmness entails environment, physical and social. But then also security is important for peace, but then security refers to ability to overcome contradictions. Buddhism emphasizes that peace comes from within, which is already elaborated. I don't want to go more on detail on this one. And of course, it's always points out that peace cannot be achieved without a person. It comes from within, not without. Peaceful society, country, and the world ought to be cumulative result of peaceful people. Non-violence is essential aspect of peace. So is the condition of goodwill. Sharing and caring is essential too, because we live in dynamic and interacting flux of people, including all living beings, not only people. Orderly and non-violent interactions and dialogues are always important, more so now in view of the importance of circumstances and the potentialities of the wars machines. But again, Buddha has also pointed out very succinctly regarding our existence, our sense organs, our mind, and the interplay. And it points out the duality of feelings. The value of peace is better understood by those who have experienced conflict situation. Obviously, peace comes as a great relief in war and the affected places, particularly when war ceases, when war stops, you have a profound feeling of peace. Because it is feeling, it is subjective and personal in nature. So peace building is rather challenging. Even the great scientist Einstein had a realization that peace cannot be enforced. It needs to be inculcated in people and in society. Buddha had taught us that peace and happiness starts from mind and deeds. Happiness follows like shadows of an object on the light for the person whose mind is positive and cheerful, whose intents and deeds are pure and happiness for all. Conversely, sorrows follows like the wheel behind the oxen cart for those whose intents and deeds are ill-willed and with vices. These are the first verses of Dhammapada. Having said this, it is important to know that action and deeds follows consequences, and accordingly resolve to follow Dhamma, the ethics and commitment, following the knowledge, wisdom, and compassion. Discipline our life with Shila, with Pancha Shila, and live following good pathways, living in Sangha, the feeling of togetherness, the feeling of responsibility, the feeling of participation. So Lumini Buddhist University is endeavoring to spread these Buddha's knowledge, wisdom, and compassion through its academic programs, and it is open for all scholars and students as well as faculty members. So we'd like to welcome you all. And before concluding, I would like to bring to light the mantra given by Buddha regarding peace, peaceful living, and happiness. And that is called Chatu Brahma Vihar, the four important aspects of meaningful living as a human being. The first one is friendship, friendliness, always feeling friendliness towards all. Friendliness requires feeling of being equal, feeling of being unconditional, coming together, feeling of sharing joy and happiness, feeling of being together in difficult times, friendliness. This is one. And the second is compassion, karuna. The first is maitri or friendliness. The second is karuna or the compassion. Always feeling kind to others, always feeling benevolent to others, always feeling goodwill towards others, all the time. This is the second aspect for being in peace and in happiness. And third is being happy, happiness from within, seeking cheerfulness. He was trying to avoid those aspects which bring sorrow, which brings kind of anger, which brings a kind of aversion. Always staying away from all those things and trying to be cheerful. Because I already talked about, if you are not happy, how can you give happiness to others? If you are not cheerful, how can you give cheerfulness to others? If you are not in peace, how can you give peace to others? So the third is this. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita. This is called Mudita. Happiness. Happiness from within, cheerfulness from within. And the very important aspect is upeksha, forgiveness, chilling out. Of course, when living our life, we come across many difficult circumstances, like we are feeling right now. In the political arena, in many other social aspects, we are feeling so many difficult times, so many difficult circumstances, and many times you come across a very contradictory situation, a very bad situation, and it always to pull you into kind of conflict situation. But if you can somehow overcome that, not by fighting, but by staying out, but by feeling forgiveness, then you can be happy even in difficult circumstances. And I believe that humanities have all these potentialities, and Buddha have shown that possibility for us all. We enter into war, conflict, and all those difficult situations because of lack of knowledge, lack of commitment to knowledge, and lack of patience. We can gain patience if we can stick to the ultimate knowledge, getting to ultimate truth. Of course, there is nothing remain all the time as a problem. We have seen problems solved through dialogue, solved through seeking, solved through making efforts. So it is possible. Well, our university, we are trying to bring these wisdoms taught by Buddha in our discourse and build Sangha in this context, new context of this 21st century. We are making effort to convert community forest into a kind of meditation center, place where we can experiment Buddha's teachings, where we can experiment building Sangha in new context, where we can on the time when Buddha taught all these aspects and see how we can connect in terms of natural environment, in terms of social environment. So we have that kind of project we're trying to move ahead. But of course, there are so many challenges, and I would like to request all our participants today using this opportunity to be with us, join with us. Please do come to our Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, to Lumbini University. You can look at our website. It is simple, www.lbu.edu.np. With this, I would like to thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity. Mangalam. Let all feel happiness, let all feel peace. And with the chanting of Buddham Saranam Gacchami, I would like to conclude my speech. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Mam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Buddha is knowledge, Dharma is ethics with compassion, and Sangha is living together, living in community, building community of Buddha's knowledge and Buddha's Dharma. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Paracharya, Vice Chancellor, Lumini Buddhist University. So I also, frankly to tell you, since War of Vietnam, I was a victim growing up. I observed many peace organizations throughout the world. Many peace organizations. They talking, they bring out the magazine, very beautiful, very good speaker, but at last it's not very good affected. This we must study, including the Divine Mother. You work long time in UN, you get many international conference, talking peace, but after that many fighting, many war happen, and the conflict is going on. So I very much like all of us, particularly the education is a very important, like the Professor Paracharya, Vice Chancellor, President University Lumini. I think this is a historical university. So she try to produce the peacemaker. And then many wonderful things come to the world. Now you have seen in the planet, many thousand universities, they produce many economists, many philosophers, many theorists, but at last the world is still suffering. So kindly try to find practical solution. How can we get peace? Particular, my idea how to convince the leader, particular political leader, come to Lumini to stay here sometime and to study the peace way of the Buddha and to purify their mind. And then I believe peace will come. So I think I open this section. So I very much like we should go another way, not own way. So I choose joking, we are the victim of the NATO. Victim of the NATO. You say NATO? Not Atlantic. NATO means no action, talking only. Whenever we have conversation, talking, at last no solution. The peace of Nepal, this is a good example for us. When I start the peace work, I was criticized by different people, different parties. But I meditation, I have my own way. Slowly working secretly. Even at last time, Maoist underground, I did not how to contact the Maoists. Then I tried to contact with the top political leader. At last, I could not get help from them. Then I went to Ashokapila, I pray, meditation. At last, I get help from very ordinary person. So I could contact the Maoist leader. Then I meet the Maoist, meet the leader. Then slowly we make connection. We brought them to Lumini and we have a little talk, then peace come. That's I want. Practical idea, not only theory. You see now the many countries, they spend billion dollars for peace. But alas, what's going on? So I also wish and pray. Lumini University should open new chapter. Whenever any conflict in the world, they should come to Lumini and to follow the course from your university. If you need, I can help you. We open the peace department, okay? But we should do. We should go our own way. We should convince. Many times I meet political leader of Nepal. I talk about the peace university. So now we have Lumini. We should have peace department. So if you need, I can come and help you. But
Thank you very much.
you should provide food for me, okay?
Thank you. Actually, we are now running program Peace and International Relation.
Yes, yes, yes.
That will be coming up soon.
But
Peace
we have the proof, and all the university only talking, but we have the proof. What we have done, Peace Nepal. That, for example, when I meet the political leader, particular the Maoist leader, they challenge me. I should have the practical plan for peace. So I wrote all my idea. Now slowly they pull point by point. So Professor Vice Chancellor, this is a very practical proof. We try to convince. Even last time, 3 times I went to Israel. I meet Palestinian leaders and some Israeli. Then I also try to convince them come to Lumini. So this we can do.
Yeah.
If we can, and now even now the present time their conflict happened in Myanmar. So let us try to bring the Myanmar leaders come to Lumini. Okay, let us work together.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, particular with the help of the Divine Mother, human. Then I think. So now I would like the time is limited. I would like to invite another peace worker, or I also say the peace ambassador, Dr. Coopers. He's a director of LIRI, the very wonderful library, international library in Lumini Holy Land. And he also stay a long time and dedicate time and work very hard for Lumini, and he make very beautiful library and good collection. And he also witnessed what we did peace for Nepal. So I would like to invite Dr. Coopers. Please share your practical idea. So I wish you should try to bring the political leader and scholar come to your international library and to purify their mind. Okay, thank you. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Namaste, everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Lam, for giving me this chance to have a few minutes to give my ideas. And I would like to thank very much the speakers before me, Venerable Mother and Professor Bhattacharya. Actually, they already said everything, especially Venerable Mother, that peace comes only if we develop it in us. It is also what the Buddha said, yeah, that we have to develop peace in our mind, in our being, in each of our atoms. Yeah, and this is done according to the Buddha by meditation and by learning. The Sanskrit word for learning he used is bahushruta, means having heard many sutras. Nowadays we read them. And the reason for this is without meditation, one can't understand the depths of the sutras. And without reading, meditation may also go astray. So that has to be combined. Yeah. And only with this combination, and if we develop in our being peace, yeah, we also radiate this, as Venerable Mother very nicely explained it. Yeah. So also, as Dr. Lam said, if you go into the internet and you type in world peace, which I did yesterday, then you find many groups. Yeah. World peace here, world peace there. There is nearly in every country a group. Yeah. And the question is, why do we still have this unrest in the world? That is very challenges. Yeah, and I think one of the fact in the West is that people don't understand incarnation. Yeah, the Buddhists understand this. They still have this concept. Asia has this concept. Yeah, I can't fight against another country if I know that I will be once born in that country. Yeah. So that is according to my understanding. The West must understand this natural fact of reincarnation. It was taught in the Christian world up to the 4th century, and then it was removed from the Christian teaching. And the result is that the people in the West generally having only one life, and they try to get everything which is possible on happiness in this short 60, 70, 80 years. And this gives a kind of distorted ambition. Yes, so that becomes very, very difficult for Western minds. And just a few days ago, 35,000 German people left the Catholic Church on one day. So religion in the West, is somehow collapsing, the traditional way, as I understand it. And we have to practice meditation to get to this kind of spiritual level where we touch the divine in us, where we also get influence or some experience from our former lives. That is a reality. It's not fantasy. So this one is one of the scientific approach. We should do this. We should meditate to come to this point. So all what the Venerable Mother explained and what she just said, it's all, I mean, I can't repeat this. It is already said, and also Professor Hidaya. We have to do this compassion. We have to work on ourselves. Before I ask other people to be peaceful, I have to do it first myself. Otherwise, it's not correct. This is my short contribution, and I wish you all peace, of course, but also understanding and the means to develop this. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Kupras. I think the most important things is you also reference the many thousand organizations, peace organization, but how many of them could bring the real peace to the people? That is a problem we should think very serious. Really, I'm telling you, I'm not a diplomat.
Yep.
But I could do something for peace because we dedicate for the peace.
Well, Dr. Lam, sorry, you remember when one time in Lumini we had always this post, peace may prevail on earth. You remember? Yes. That was just for Buddha Jayanti. It was just put onto some corners of Lumini area. Yeah. And that is not, I mean, that is kind of advertisement. Right. And you know me very well. I'm personally a little bit against this kind of outside propaganda. First, we have to develop this in ourselves.
Yes.
And I very, very, very much appreciate the speech by Venerable Mother. Because that is all said. What she said is the way how it should be done. And of course, if we can get all the political leader and United Nations was done for this, that we have some kind of peace on earth. I remember, I was born after the Second World War. I've seen the destruction in our city. When I was a kid, and I saw this. There were no buildings, houses, and all these uncles and neighbors. They came with own no eyes, no legs, no arms. I've seen this kind of horror from the war. So the United Nations was developed, and still we have this, let's say, these problems in the world.
Yes.
There were artists, they wrote, never war again. Käthe Kollwitz, the German artist, the ladies, she made a nice poster, never war again. Everybody, it was shown everywhere. Now we have 70 or 80 years later, still we are in many, many wars.
So, thank you, Dr. Kupras. I also agree with your idea. Now the people like the propaganda, peace, but inside no peace. How can we give the peace outside? I think Nepal is a very good example. When I brought the political leader, including Prachanda, to Ashok Kapila, many Nepali leaders are very surprised, isn't it? I think that time you was there, isn't it? At that time. Then I also was lucky on the political leader elect me like the chairman of that meeting. We call seminar, but very, very good affected. Short meeting, but very good result. So I very much liked the professor Paracharya, Vice Chancellor. We should did a little thing. We should apply the Lotus Sutra, Sattama Baranikaya. We brought them here, we purify their mind by giving good food, good place to stay, good music, and if possible, you give them good dancing, and then they change their mind, their peace come. So I very much like to share this as my personal experience. When Prachanda, he come, he did not, before he didn't come, Lumini, a lot of things change in his mind. Because therefore peace come to Nepal, including the old Nepali leader. So many times whenever I meet the political leader, I say, please, you should come to Lumini. Simple few days and purify the mind. You see, but we don't talk much religion. Because if we talk much religion, they very much doubt. Yeah, because with them, we should give good food. Yeah, and purify the mind. That is my, I have some secret. I will disclose slowly. For example, now, many people, when they read my books, even now, sometimes they put the question, Guruji, you have done good thing for Nepal. You could find good solution, peace Nepal. And now, what happened in Myanmar? Whether we can do something. So this also very sad story. This is a Buddhist country, but why such thing happen? So I also need your suggestion whether we can do something for this country. So I need your suggestion. So now it seems to be there's one Dr. Alok, the scholars, and also good peace lover. So I would like to invite you a few minutes, your idea about peace. And then after this one, if another person, if you have a question, you are most welcome. Dr. Alok? No. So, Dr. Alok, you still listening? Mendak, did you check Dr. Alok from India?
Dạ con không có thấy thưa thầy, hồi nãy là có tham dự rồi.
Maybe he goes sleeping or he's hungry. You see, that also before peace, maybe he can have food and then he run away. Yeah, very interesting. So now the time also a very short time. I would like to invite the people put the question. And particular, please you give practical idea. And we should action. Follow the Buddha way. I had many idea, many makfat, but we disclose slowly. And I wish I could do something with the Lumni University, but we don't talk. Do first. If the Lumni University can work together with me, we bring the Myanmar leader come to Lumini, and I think we purify their mind. Yeah, and we give good food and like this one. I think this is very practical. Now since about more than 1 month, many friends from Myanmar, they ran to me, telephone me. They request the help, but I say I'm not a politician. I'm just ordinary. I'm only a chowkidar. How can I help? But they pay very much attention to us. They say, "Oh, you can do. You can do because you have done." You see, when the peace comes, then I want to be ordinary. I don't want to be close with the political leaders. I just want to be ordinary because I don't want to be famous. But now I forget you. After the peace come to Nepal, there's one few political opposition leaders in the Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, they have the movement to against the government. They come to request me to help them get peace. But that time, after the peace Nepal, I was very tired. My money serving so many years on finish. So I told them frankly, you see, I feel very sorry. I told them because I'm living in Nepal, so I dedicate all my energy and work Nepal peace now. Let me take rest. But really, I also very tired. Another way because I do not know well Sri Lanka. So Tamil group, they come 3 persons. But at last I could not help them. And 3 of them were killed. The last battle in Sri Lanka. But this is not, I feel sorry because we don't have the mean. I also do not know well the situation in Sri Lanka. But Myanmar, I think we should do. We should together. We pray with the help of unseen hand and your positive idea. Let us work together. Particularly Myanmar, they have very beautiful temple and stupa in Lumini. So let us convene. So if we have time, let us together do something because they are Buddhist country and we are living in the Holy Land. So please,
Thank you.
Yeah, please give the question. Push question. Very short and very practical one, not theory. Yeah, we are the victim of the theory. So many theologians, even many Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, but cannot bring peace.
Yeah. Can I have I have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. What about the Myanmar conflict now? I think the first we must identify what is a root cause for the conflict in Myanmar now. Root cause is very important.
Yes.
If we understand the root cause for the conflicts in Myanmar, we will find out the good or best solution for that. So I think, of course, the way to bring the peace to Myanmar is must by loving way. I think so, of course, but we should more clear about the root cause. Yeah, that's all.
No, the root cause is very clear. Very clear. I can tell you immediately. Because not understanding, don't have understanding, reconciliation, and the people greedy, abused, greedy, money, fame, brownness, poverty. Yeah, this is very simple. But most important thing now, how we convince different political leaders, including the army leader, try to follow the Buddha way. That is very important. The code is everywhere. You see, yeah. You see now one thing I'm telling you, after the peace come to Nepal, Aung San Suu Kyi, at that time she was a resident arrested in Myanmar. Then my book was sponsored by her closer friend to print it into Myanmar. And then at that time, they change their mind. Therefore, they get peace to Myanmar. But when they get the power, that is also the mistake, I'm telling you. When the political power leaders, they don't get the power, they talk one way. But when they get the power, they do another way. Therefore, conflict happens. That's sure. Yeah. But I'm not Myanmar people. I was not there, but I say the Myanmar people, they have very special mind, very special character. So now I do not protect the, I'm not belong to any side. I'm a neutral. But we say, if we are sick, there are some cause. I'm agree with you. But that's one we must be very, very sincerely admit it. Yeah. For example, the question, when I had difficulty many years ago, I also put the question about the enlightenment of the Buddha. When I had difficulty, I said, oh, Buddha, you left the kingdom, you left beautiful palace, you live beautiful white children, you find meditation only few years, you get enlightenment. But we practice long time, but we did not get enlightenment. The reason why? Even now, I could not find any book written about this thing. Tripitaka, so many monks and many philosophers and many scholars talking like this one. So you see, this is a wonderful thing. You see, for example, I'm an ordinary person, but I spend more than 40 years and 6 months throughout the world. I try to study the reason why many rich people become poor. So many scholars, so many universities produce the scholar about the finance, about the high technology, but alas, many problems. So this, I wish Lumini University should open the new chapter for humanity. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think one very important aspect that you spoke is the sincerity, the intent, and living. Buddha is also recognized as a person who lives by the word. What he talks, he lives. What he says, he abides. I think that is the most important thing that many people have to realize and attain. I cannot attain that. Yes, I can talk as a professor, as a teacher. I can teach the word. I can teach the meaning. But living by the meaning, living by the word, is so difficult.
Yes.
Every time it is just like lamp. You have to pull together. You have to use all these things in a synergic way to light up. One you miss and the light will go out. That is what happens in our life. So the same person, sometimes this person is liked by everybody abides by him, everybody finds leadership in him, but as soon as splits up, then the light goes out and everything goes out. So this is happening to each and every one human being. Buddha was different because he stuck to that. He always, every moment, all through his life, after his enlightenment, all through his life, in going towards getting enlightenment, he abided by that. That is the difference between Buddha and ordinary people like us.
Good.
I thank you, Professor Lam, for really mentioning Lumini University, Lumini Buddhist University, and suggesting that we open this kind of chapter. This is very, very important.
Yes.
Very simple, but
Yeah.
very difficult.
Thank you.
Buddha taught three aspects. Buddha
Yeah.
taught three aspects.
Mm.
Number one is Shila, discipline, self-discipline, the 5 precepts: non-violence, not stealing, not engaging in misconduct, sexual misconduct, not lying, not telling lie, and staying away from addictions and aversions. Very simple. But sticking to this Shila is so difficult. We are tempted by so many things and we slip out. We fall down. Simple, but very difficult. One is Shila. And then Samadhi. Shila, Samadhi. Concentrate. What is really causing you this one? The root cause, as our friend said. Finding root cause. Concentrating on root cause. Concentrating on solution to root cause. Meditation is the way getting into that concentration. See, the Samadhi is meditation, meditation getting into concentration. And then the third aspect is prajna. That you gain knowledge and you live by knowledge, you apply knowledge for solving. Not just get knowledge in your head, but live by the knowledge. That's why Buddha is called Yathavadi Tathakari. As he says, as he does. So this is very challenging aspect. You cannot teach this. You can teach the way, but you cannot teach people to be Buddha. Because it has to happen. I think this is a good challenge for universities, Lumini University for that matter. We may teach about what Buddha taught. We may teach about concept of Buddha. We may teach about theory of philosophy of Buddha, so on and so forth. But so difficult. It is a challenge.
May I address? Sorry.
Please, yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I would like to address that very important question that was raised by a member of the Sangha. And, you know, I do believe that understanding causation is extremely important because it brings us to root causes, and that will allow us to better move into the proactive state of prevention, as opposed to continuously addressing symptoms that are already perceived that are there. However, the simultaneity of action, the understanding of root causes, and addressing the problems that have already arisen are very important. Now, Lord Buddha said that everything in the external world is impermanent. Therefore, we are in a constant state of flux. And my spiritual master said, anything that changes is not real. Everything in the external world changes. Therefore, everything is not real in the external world. So when things are very good, people become very attached. And it is in that attachment that Lord Buddha was talking about that we will suffer because we want to hold on to what we delude ourselves into thinking we can permanently have, but we in actuality cannot because everything changes. But when a situation of war or suffering is present, then we are seeking for solutions. So this is the constant state of the world of duality, the happy, the sad, the good, the bad. And we are always moving to and fro between the pairs of opposites. However, the importance of the teachings, all the great masters, is to come to that state of transcendence. And as I shared last week about my beloved spiritual mother and master, who was an enlightened being and said, I am neither happy nor sad. And she was in this permanent state of homeostasis, or that stable equilibrium between interdependent elements, where one exists in a state of supreme peace beyond any mental understanding. And this is a state of transcendence, where we are beyond the pairs of opposites, and we have gone into that sacred ground of being, where peace is and pure unconditional love is. And ultimately, in the awakened state, we are striving to arrive there. In the meantime, as we journey on our sacred journeys of life, we are ever subject to the pairs of opposites, and all of the teachings are helping us to move to transcendence. So it is important to address solutions. It is important to address causation in the world of creation. But the ultimate goal is to awaken to the reality of the transcendental state that is that sacred ground of being from which we all arise, to which we will all return. And in reality, we already have existence.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
you.
now.
I have another question.
Yes.
Dear Master and Divine Mother and other listener, I have a question for Divine Mother. How can we practice and attain inner peace when I feel like one of our biggest weaknesses lies in the words of others, which can cause conflicts, can affect us strongly, like hurt us or make us insecure? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Yes, there is a saying, a very popular saying that goes like this: sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And I say that that is a false, saying that many children are taught when they're little to help them to avoid bullying or any kind of negative words that are thrown at them. However, in the Bible, it says in the book of Genesis, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What that demonstrates is the creative energy and power of words. So words are formulated as mental constructions of the mind. And my spiritual master also told me the mind is not real. It is only an instrument to help you to point it to the sacred chamber of your heart, where the divine source and presence resides. Okay, so in the world of mentation, you have the constant arising and disappearing of form and structure of thought. Now, anything with form and structure must ultimately go back to dust. Like the body has form and structure and will go back to dust, so too in the construction of the mind, the construction of words, the construction of sentences are constructions on the mental plane. And therefore, it arises and disappears in milliseconds. So the mind, in that sense, is the least reliable indicator of reality. Anything that changes, my spiritual mother said, the mind is not real, only God is real. The body is not real, only God is real. Anything that changes is not real, only God, the changeless changer, is real. Therefore, the ultimate goal is the realization of that immortal, eternal, sacred source of all there is. In the meantime, we must know that in the realm of the mind, where peace begins, where the thought of negativity begins, it is very important to know that the mental realm, the verbal realm, the realm of action are all units of energy that creates. And energy can never be destroyed, it can be transformed. Therefore, it is very important that what we think becomes our speech and becomes our action and puts us on the trajectory towards our destiny. Therefore, all the great masters will teach you that what we think, what we say, what we do, very, very important. So, do words hurt? Yes, because that is deploying powerful unit of energy that has impact. It is unleashing the law, the karmic law. Ultimately, all that you say and put out into the world in thought, speech, and action, you are ultimately doing to yourself. when Jesus came, he said, do unto others as, love one another as I have loved you. And in the Bible, we have to do unto others as we, would like to be done unto us. So that are different articulations of the karmic law and the universal law of the source of God, which is that universal presence of eternal love. Okay, so we must be very careful. Words do create impressions. Words have energy and power. Therefore, I began my presentation today about how it is important to choose proper leaders, because the power of the words can ultimately put into motion actions that are that are actually representations of the word. So I did say that it's important to choose leaders that will not have a language of hatred, racism, and polarization, that can create a polarized government, that can stir the citizens to deploy hate speech that ultimately becomes hate crimes, atrocities, and ultimately genocide. So speech is very important. And in fact, at the level of the United Nations, the Undersecretary General of the Office of the Prevention of Genocide is also mandated to have, has created a strategic plan of action against hate speech. So let us never think that words are not important. They are very, very important. But we should also realize in the back of it that words, being units of energy, arise from the state of the mind, and ultimately the mind and the constructions of the mind are the least reliable indicators of reality. And I'm talking capital R, not the little r. So these are very, very important concepts, but more than concepts, they are ultimate truths of the spiritual law.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I find there's one professor or teacher, Sumanta Nubani. Do you have some your suggestion? Nubani?
Yeah, thank you, Venerable Lam,
Yes.
my respected BC Lumini Buddhist University Vice Chancellor, and other monks and some persons. I would like to say it is very nice meeting because here I can how I can say peace is peace. Buddha has given so many speech in peace in Aryashtangik Marga, Four Noble Truths, and in other way. Okay, thank you so much.
And now I think the time we limited only 1 hour. Now more than 1.5, nearly 2 hours. So it's interesting, exciting. So before conclusion, I would like to request your idea. For example, many people request us to give possible solution for Myanmar. So first, I would like to invite the Professor Bhattacharya, Vice Chancellor. What is your idea? And then Dr. Coopers and Divine Mothers and others. So I think now there are very so many theory already. Now should tell the practical idea. So I also wish today this historical conversation, and we should do something. Particular, our friend now is suffering conflict in Myanmar. Whether we can do similar thing in Nepal or not. Very short and very yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we can do the way, and the way we need to generate will to move on the way. We can do that. Not us. Hatred will never vanquish hatred. It's only will and friendship that can dissolve the hatred. We live in society and we are not alone. We have to interact with other fellow human beings. It is always like that in any society. So following Buddha's path, we can help people in Myanmar come together, interact with positiveness, positive mind, with understanding, with deeper understanding, and realization that only goodness towards others will bring goodness for everyone, including the self. So this one we have to, you know, of course, people in Myanmar, there are so many knowledgeable people in Myanmar, so many, you know, wise people in Myanmar, but somehow the places and the circumstances and the noises that are there, it is not really supporting them to bring this calmness, this peace in Myanmar. We can support them from outside. As you move in a boat, you have to row. You must paddle, and you cannot paddle. You cannot push boat from inside. You have to push from outside the boat, and I think that role we can play from Nepal. I really agree with you that we can actively, proactively use our experiences, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to help our friends, brothers and sisters in Myanmar. Thank you. We can do that.
Thank you. Professor Paracharya, now you are in Lumbini, you are in Kathmandu.
I'm in Lumbini.
Okay, will you very soon to in Kathmandu?
Not so soon. I will be here at least for 2 weeks.
I think Dr. Coopers, now you are in Kathmandu?
Yes, I'm in Kathmandu.
Okay, so I think we need your help. Tomorrow morning, try to meet His Excellency Ambassador, Myanmar. And I think today maybe he listened to us. Otherwise, tomorrow you get an appointment, you meet him and you give suggestion. What we can help them. Okay.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I will follow you.
Okay. Okay. Then before there, you chant the mantra and you prepare the good coffee or good food.
Sure. we have a nice canteen.
Because now I am living in Lumbini. If I go there, it's second time now.
Yeah, Dr. Lam, I will invite you to my canteen sometime, evening time. It's very beautiful. I think I have sent you the picture of nighttime picture of my university, the stupa, the Buddhist stupa. Nice, very calm.
Oh, okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I think your university, I have very collection flower. I brought from Vietnam. If you need, then
Thank
I
you.
can send there. Yeah, Dr.
You are in Lumbini. Are you in Lumbini?
Yeah, I'm Lumbini. Yeah.
Okay.
Few days we shoot together. And Dr. Coopers, now you are close the representative of Myanmar in Kathmandu. Can you do these things for tomorrow morning?
That tomorrow I'm not sure because I have some work to do, but repairs a car and so. And then day after tomorrow I have come back to Lumbini.
Oh, really? So you remember?
Yeah. This time is very short, you know. I'm sorry. I do my prayers for Myanmar and for them. I do my prayers.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
But we can,
Okay, and now
excuse me. We can talk with people here in Lumbini, Myanmar monastery.
Yeah.
And convey our concern and our goodwill to them.
I think you see, we are not belong to any political party. We do from our heart. I believe. You see, now this is a good lesson for us. Good lesson for us. The ambassador, Myanmar ambassador of United Nations, including United Kingdom, England. He followed the advice from the European government Then he resigned and he condemned the Myanmar government. It's a very interesting, this is a good lesson. So I think we should be neutral. We are not belong to, maybe we are successful. And he go to United, he denounced to the military government. And he resigned the permanent ambassador United Nations. It's a very interesting. When he left the embassy, his embassy in England, United Kingdom, only 1 hour. When he come back, and the people in the embassy not allowed to enter the embassy. This is very interesting. So I wish we should, this is a good lesson we not belong to, but we do our own way and maybe successful. You see, now he feel very sorry because he listened the president of United States and all European, and then he want to pressure. This is not successful. Understanding, yeah, understanding, reconciliation, loving kindness. So this is very, very interesting story, yeah, because he's an ambassador. He should rely on his people. He should not rely on the advice of the foreigner. Yeah, because he does this thing. Now even the United Kingdom, they protest. But why they stop? He enter the Myanmar embassy. Oh. So I think you see. Therefore, I'm not interested in politics. Politics is very, very complicated. Huh? Today they talk one thing, they do another thing. So I wish your university should produce new politicians. Okay, what they say they should follow. So I also, whenever I meet a Nepali political leader or any political leader, I suggest what you say you should do, follow. Yeah, then you see now very complicated. When I read this story, do you know this this news about the Myanmar ambassador? So now I would like to request Divine Mother, you are close United Nations. You living higher than United Nations. You have many good connections, including the UN General Secretary, many leaders there. Can you contact them and tell them to follow our idea?
Yes, anything is possible, especially utilizing political processes and working with our leading guiding institutions. Ultimately, though, final words, we are all human beings. And as such, we recognize that we are social beings, and our good health depends upon our having good relationships with our neighbors, with each other, and within ourselves. So ultimately, we should try to keep the politics out. As Venerable Thay Huyền Diệu has indicated, we are not, political people. At the same time, we cannot avoid the fact that politics are involved, as well as many foreign countries, and Myanmar itself was a colony of the United Kingdom. So that, has mobilized a whole nother set of historical facts that still we are experiencing today. So it is important that we bring the people together. Like when we went to Vietnam after the Vietnam War and we saw how wonderful the Vietnamese people were, we ate with them, we did events together. The question arose within the American contingent, why did we go to war against such wonderful people? So when we get to know each other, we do not want to war against each other. And in Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, the former prime minister, said that, he was a benign authoritarian in that he designed the different religious and ethnic communities to live together as neighbors so that they would break bread together, get to know each other, get to know their customs. And Singapore, as we all know, is a very peaceful first world country today. So ultimately what he was designing for, we should all be thinking about, is ultimately establishing this heart-to-heart connection, that we can be together in community with each other, and that we do not create marginalized and isolated societies. As we are fully aware in Myanmar, there is the Rohingyas are marginalized, they're isolated, they live in their own camps. And so there are many, many levels that we need to work on. But ultimately, when we recognize we are all human beings, we are all social beings, and we must learn to be together, break bread together, and having food together, and sharing our songs and dances and customs together, that we may know each other and realize that under the form and the appearances of form and substance, we are really all one and the same.
Okay.
So thank you.
And I find your position is a very, very wonderful position. You are, your house is very close to United Nations, and your office is higher than United Nations. So please, you stand there, you give blessing to them, okay? And then
Yes.
tomorrow, if possible, try to contact positive leaders, United Nations, and then you propose them. If Myanmar leaders really like peace, so please you convey our invitation. All of them come to Lumini. We will manage the lodging for them, and we put, if they can bring Myanmar food, okay? And we are cooking for them, okay? So Divine Mothers, you can do, okay? You promised?
Well, I would, I will, of course, do my best, as I have helped you to bring peace to Nepal. I met you in April of the year that you were very concerned about the war in Nepal. And by October, peace had come to Nepal. And I recall very clearly that when you first met me and opened the gates to your beautiful temple in Lumbini, you said to me that I know Lord Buddha sent you to me to help me bring peace to Nepal. And so I had just checked into the hotel, and I checked out of the hotel to stay in your monastery for a whole week, to do those spiritual practices to unleash that vibratory frequency of peace and harmony to the country. This is all done in spirit, in to out first, not out to in. And by October of that same year, peace had come to Nepal. So it is very important that we work from the level of spirit first, in to out, because that's where true peace begins, within the hearts and minds of every individual.
Yeah, we are very grateful. We are very much thankful for your help. So the peace come to
I have
Nepal.
a question.
Now the human, please try, because our life is impermanent. We do not know we die anytime. So please, you spend your precious time, help us, and you try to bring the leaders, your position leader come to Lumini, okay? And then if they like, we bring them to Himalaya to purify their mind. And particularly now they have the temple. Now for us, now difficult to contact telephone to the people from Myanmar, but you are from United Nations, you can contact them by different way. And with your position, if possible, you bring your friend Obama and Trump. Trump seems to be your student. Donald Trump. You bring all
I
your
just
students.
I just wanted to create, make some factual corrections here. I was at the United Nations. I was an advisor to the special representative of the Secretary General for Children and Armed Conflict. But I am not in the United Nations now in headquarters. And when Venerable Huyền Diệu says that I have a top level position at the UN, what he is talking about is when he stayed in my residence, he was very much taken by the fact that it was situated higher than the Secretary General's office across the street in the United Nations. So that is what he is remembering.
Now, I know your influence is very important. You see, I'm telling you, 21st century is spiritual century.
That's right. It's the spiritual century.
Now you agree with me. Americans,
yes.
They are very proud. They are American #1, strongest weapon, atomic everything. But they cannot solve the problem. You are the American citizen. I do not criticize. Now they understand. They are very proud. #1, only #1. Like the President Trump, only #1. When they say #1, then you become #10.
So, yes, well, I'm not.
Many people respect you. So try to do something for peace.
Of course, of course. We are all workers for peace.
Okay. Let us
and
together.
yes,
Thank you.
so
Thank you very much
you have the commitment for that.
Yeah, thank you very much for all of you. Divine Mother, Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Cooper's own participant. I think today I feel I'm just a chowkidar, but I have the feeling we could do something for humanity, particular now the peace for Myanmar. So I request again, all of you, please pray, send a peace message to Myanmar every day, and let us together, let us do something. Thank you very much for joining us. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Bye, everybody.
Namaste.
Aloha.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
dhanyavad.
When
Okay,
I hope
bye-bye.
next week we meet again.
Inside out.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.